Now, Levine, thank you again for this community Eatonville, who have placed us in to be residents and representatives, teams of the administration, those that you have allowed to be in position of leadership, make decisions that will be beneficial and advantageous for this community. And that you have to give them wisdom and knowledge and understanding, discernment and discretion, that they might be prudent about the things that they choose to do. That all those that work for this community, that you continue to bless them and keep them. Thank you for every resident of Eatonville, that you continue to respect each other's personalities and properties, but also get together in unity, harmony, love. Thank you for this town council meeting where we're supposed to be educated, updated on the state and the welfare of this our community. We ask you all things in your name, right? In Jesus' name again we say it. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the approval. Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Second.
If you move second, all in favor say aye. All right, all opposed. The agenda is approved. Following is presentations and recognition. This past weekend, I was attending an event, and you don't appreciate people that are around you all of the time until you really see them in action. And I really got to see our law enforcement in action. Whether it was good, whether it was bad, when you want help, you call. And when I saw the extent to which they were helping this community, all I could do was stand and wish I could help. But I appreciate our law enforcement officers, and I don't know how we can do it. We can make it all balanced, make those numbers balanced, but I am totally in support of supporting the families whose loved ones go off every day and you don't know if they're coming back. And with that being said, I want to read a proclamation that recognizes National Police Week, May 12, 2024 through May 18, 2024. Whereas law enforcement officers are our guardians of life and property, defenders of individual rights, and warriors against crime. They are dedicated to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect us. And whereas peace officers play a vital role in our community, enabling us to live safely and freely. They are dedicated to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to protect us. And whereas the Congress of the United States of America has designated the week of May 12th to be dedicated as National Police Week, and May 12th to be Peace Officers Memorial Day. And now, therefore, I, Angie Gardner, Mayor of the town of Eatonville, Florida, on behalf of the citizens of the town of Eatonville, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th, 2024 to May 18th, 2024 to be National Police Week in the town of Eatonville, Florida, and call upon our citizens to show our appreciation and sincerity for the Eatonville police officers of this town by deed, remark, and attitude. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Eatonville, Florida, to be affixed this 7th day of May, 2024. Would you please stand? Let's recognize our law.
Just on behalf of me and the men and women of the police department, we just thank the community for receiving us. We are still products of the same communities. We go to the same Walmarts, Walgreens, almost even the same churches. We do what we can while we can. We're still growing, we're still learning. But most of all, what I really love about this department is its ability to have resilience to get up in the morning or at night to come out and be here for 12 hours a night and work the extra hours that are asked of them and go to the extended trainings and
last minute meetings that I throw on them from time to time. Being a military guy, I always believe that if you stay in the norm, you'll be normal. But I want you to be above that. So I give them sometimes things that don't really work well with them. I'm sure they talk a lot about me a lot in the parking lot. May not be in kosher words, but they're gonna know I care about them. But the only way to do that is not to stretch them. I gotta get the best out of them, and I know that they're giving me that. And I thank you all for being supportive and caring and kind. And just know that we're here to do what we can while we can. Thank you again for today.
The next item on the agenda is presentations to recognize the town of, I'm gonna say the town of Eatonville's Star Students of the Month. When you think about the history of the town of Eatonville and what it was founded on, one of those main principles was education. 2 years after it was founded, we had our first school. And I think even now we think about the 100 acres. That is the testament of how dedicated our founding fathers were and those early citizens were of making sure that our children, our students were educated. So with that being said, I want to recognize the STAR students this evening as I call your name. And from the Thomas Leadership Academy, I would like to recognize Deshani Stokes. Well, Deshani. Woo woo. That's my student. Look at it. It's hot. I have to. From Edgewater High School, Jacayla Walker. He was a mess, y'all. She was a mess. From Lockhart Middle School, Maura McLean. And finally, from Hungerford Elementary, Jocelyn Cobb. You see that? No, keep it. Jocelyn Cobb. I'll sit here in my mouth tomorrow. Thank you.
Can you get a picture with you and the council and all of the STAR students?
Please come back up here, sister.
We just finished staggered.
Yeah, you got to stand behind. Yeah, you guys, students step forward. Council stand behind. That's perfect. On three, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Harris, want to get pictures with us?
Thank you.
All right, 1, 2, 3, and bow. Thank you.
I think I can say one thing. Where's the yeah, I'm the little voice. Well,
Yeah, stop.
you gotta get on that voice, guys.
Oh. The next item on the agenda, I don't know if I want to give you a moment, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the agenda, or just will be a great exit time for those that needed to leave for the STAR students. Otherwise, we're gonna keep it moving. All right. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the first reading of ordinance 20. Oh, I'm sorry, citizen participation. My apologies.
And we have Representative Bruce Antoine.
All right, good evening. I am Bruce Antone, 305 West Concord Street, zip code 32802. So I'm here tonight as a grant, town of Eatonville. You all have seen all the stories in the newspaper on the cheap afternoon news about the museum. And so folks, we're making a lot of progress on that. We're working on that for about a year now. I want to volunteer my services to the town to help you all with that. I want to call each of the council members and the mayor and ask for a meeting. You know, there's like a 60-page design document that goes with the museum. And so the museum concept is really a complex. It is a museum, 2 wedding chapels, banquet hall, 250 seat theater, and then there's an amphitheater that goes with it. So I want to explain this to everybody what it is that we're trying to do here. And this is like $75 to $100 million project. So 30 million coming from Orange County through the tourist development taxes, ideally 30 million coming from the state of Florida, the 10 acres of land, and then another $30 million has to be raised to make this thing work. And so I got a call from Commissioner Christine Moore, Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she just wanted to let me know that she was going to go and help get the Republican support for this. So my state representative colleague and the state senator colleague. So we're making lots and lots of progress on this. And Mayor, this would have like a boxing park in there as well. So food court and all of that. Second thing is I just want to talk about the community benefits agreement. So as you move forward on whatever it is you're doing, there's a unique situation here in Eatonville. This is the oldest Black incorporated town in the United States, right? And so maybe the traditional method of getting citizens input is not going to work. And so maybe you have to get some folks to go door to door and get that input. But I think you want to, and I'm just suggesting to you all, that you make sure you take your time and get this right. And so everybody that owns a home over here should benefit from whatever happens, because at the point that a town council over here approves at least 1,000 housing units, your demographics is going to change drastically. And so again, the oldest Black incorporated town in the United States, once you start approving housing, it changes. So I just personally think you need to make sure that everybody benefits. And I want to help you all with that. So again, I'm going to volunteer my services to help you all with coming up with some kind of agreement. And that's all I got to say. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You have Jordan.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents of Stuart County, Eatonville. I have, first of all, thank you, Representative Anton, for educating us a little bit more than what we've been educated in regards to the museum opportunity that we have. Certainly appreciate that, and hopefully we can continue and have more of it. What I'm up here for is about my trash. This is week number 3. I have come to the town hall. I've spoken to the young lady, Miss Michelle. She's emailed people. I have called Waste Connection myself. I have put in several asks and called and emailed for them to pick up my yard waste. Okay, this tomorrow will make week number 3. Now, I gotta be fair, today they did get some things up from my yard, and I'm very thankful for that. However, it has forced me, I'm having, some work done on my home, and it has forced me in such a situation to feel like I have to transport items from my yard to find somewhere to put them. So I'm asking, is there anywhere at the town hall that I can put my trash? So ask, right? I don't have a dumpster, right? And I'm trying to continue, doing work on inside and outside of my home. So this is a problem. It's a major problem for me. So I'm asking in your report, whenever you want to let me know. I got some stuff right now outside in my trunk. I'm very serious, y'all. I'm very serious. I got 2 bags, right? I'm very, very serious. I need help, right? And on another note, also, the opportunity to hire the recreation director. Is there anywhere that those qualifications are going to be listed? I might have to dust my shoes off, y'all. What you think? Yeah, let's give it a run. I told my man the other night I had a little juice left in the tank. I love to see some programs here for our youth. That's how we came up in the town of Eatonville. It was all about the parks, these dirt roads, the programs that we were able to have even at Hungerford. Before we had used to the Denton Johnson Center. I'd love to see that program get up and thriving again. We need it. Just like Vice Mayor Washington just said, where are our young men? Right? Where are they? They should have been up here being recognized. We need more because we don't have a lot of engagement in our community with our kids, and especially the little boys and girls. I cannot be biased on that. So we need more of that. I'd be willing to lend a hand in that area of whatever that may look like for us here at the town, because I am a proponent for our youth and especially the recreation department. It has afforded me an opportunity to go to college and all that, and I'd like to see that for the kids as well. So thank you, but I'm very serious. I got 2 things in my trunk that I need to have delivered. All right? Thank you all so very much.
We have Mr. Johnson. And you have handouts that you provided for tonight.
Good evening, council, residents, citizens, and guests. I'm Julian Johnson, 142 Next Boulevard, resident of Eatonville, Florida. And today I'm here to kind of go more in depth on the community benefits agreement that Representative Antone spoke about. And I did hand out a few documents there for you to read. And pretty much this document that I laid out provides a comprehensive overview of the proposed CBA, which is a community benefit agreement for the town of Eatonville. And that aims to facilitate a clear understanding among the town council members about the benefits and considerations associated with implementing the CBA. If you all haven't been, or you're not aware of that and what that is. And I'm requesting tonight to possibly, if this is something we could workshop as a community together and start educating the community on so that we can put this in force. I listed out some of the pros because there's always pros and cons to different things, but really what a community benefit agreement is a legal binding contract between the community stakeholders and developers who come in here and get government funds for subsidies when they want to develop. So we understand that Hungerford property is an economic, what are they called? The opportunity zones. So there are, benefits for developers to develop in those areas. What we're saying is as community members and residents that we're tired of the town getting the benefits and the residents not getting the benefits. We want the community to be involved in the development process of what's going on. So with this contract and this agreement advisory council, well, what I pulled was a similar thing from St. Pete, where they created a community benefit advisory council who pretty much negotiates the contracts with the developers who are potentially about to develop in the communities. And they cover things, as you see, such as affordable or workforce housing, environmental resiliency and sustainability, public infrastructure, equitable workforce development, neighborhood health and safety, and equitable economic opportunities. So far, what we see in Eatonville is not by design. It has been done intentionally inside of these rooms. And all of you all have been through administrations where economic development has gone up, but you have not done anything to develop the people. But we see buildings going up, but the people receive nothing in benefits. So what we're saying is we, as a community, what we want to do is to be able to go into contract with these developers before they even reach, or before they put a shovel in the ground. So what that does is that protects us and making sure that we are able to do things such as what think tanks. We need a think tank. We have the first Black town in America, and the education system, nobody thought to create a political science classes for children. Nobody thought about putting a think tank inside of the first Black self-governing town in America. And those are things that you can do with community benefit agreements. You can request things from developers on a long-term stretch, 30 years. Somebody gonna pass me a please? Callie?
Ms. King, may I pass my minutes? Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, okay.
If you don't mind.
Is your name here on here?
Yes, ma'am. Believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Williams Brown.
Thank you, Nan.
So that'll be additional 2 minutes.
Additional 2?
Yeah.
Not 3.
Okay. All right, cool. But what I gave you all tonight, council members and some residents, you have what is the advisory council, where it explains that what that community benefit agreement, community benefit advisory council is. And they require developers to provide community benefits for projects that receive public assistance. Benefits may include activities in the following areas. As we read before, affordable housing, environmental resiliency, sustainability, public infrastructure, equitable workforce development, and equitable economic opportunities, and also neighborhood health and safety. So as you see, they created an entire council where they actually meet and negotiate with developers. So what we're saying as a community, we want to be in the process so we can prevent gentrification. We can prevent these things from happening. So we're able to lead those processes and to avoid potential, there may be potential cons with this, like conflict of interest with developments and stuff, right? But there's conflict of interest right now with developments when it comes to council. Let's be honest. There's conflict of interest when it comes to people in the community, when it comes to people in the government. So we're just saying, give us a chance as residents, as stakeholders in the community to be at the forefront of this. If we want to do this the right way, let's do it the right way. And you can take this home, read over it, you can research. And if we want to workshop it, I can bring in some guys. There are fellas out in Baltimore who did do this that I have a good relationship with. I'll seek out with St. Pete and see what they have as well, to see if we can probably bring them in on a virtual call to see how we could work this out as a community. Because we need to be in as residents, as citizens, we deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, we missed out and that did happen. And there needs to be accountability held for that. For people who have, or councils who have passed things and have not reached out for residents to be involved. So that's the only way we're gonna get better together as a team and as a unit. So accountability needs to be held, and also going forward, I look forward to workshopping this and educating the community.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Angela Johnson.
Please just hold our conversation until, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents of the historic town of Eatonville. I have a question on the effective date for this stormwater to be added to the ad valorem tax bill. So is that something that is going to be implemented in the bill that you're going to receive in November of this year that will be payable next year?
Ms. Johnson, can you repeat that, please, what you just said?
Keep going.
So my question was regarding the effective date. The effective date for adding the stormwater, the $52 annual payment instead of to the tax bill as opposed to the monthly billing. So if you can advise us of that, and then I would highly encourage you to create some type of literature that is included in the water bill, not posted on the websites, because we know that some of our residents do not access those platforms. I also wanted to speak on the request for staffing the recreation director. I'm gonna say that I really stand along with Ms. Jordan in support of that, because I think what happens is we lose sight of the amount of time that it takes to administer programs and services. And although we may not see a number of students or kids or community members that are heavily involved in structured programs, maybe bringing on a director would be able to allow us to enhance the services that we're providing. However, I would challenge the staff to be mindful because of the relationship between our HR department and the potential staffing. To remove any implicit or, perceived biases, conflicts of interest, you may want to consider outsourcing that to a different hiring company. So, and then I thank you, Councilman Mack, for a great event on Saturday. Look forward to the continued things that are coming up. So, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Our next one is Arby. Joyce Arby.
Hi, everybody. I'm gonna spend 5 seconds saying that my water was cut off 3 months consecutively, 29 days after I paid my bill in full, but Mr. President and I are gonna do that. I wanna talk about perspective on progress. I don't believe that any person up here cares any less about this town than I do. Or any of us. I think the last meeting was before, I think, Councilman Davis and I had a difference of perspective on progress. And I just wanted to say that this is sacred land on which we stand. History's mysteries live in the seas. Our ancestors' hopes and dreams are in the wind, and we feel them, and then we breathe them in. We give them life again. The framers of this town did not frame it so that we could give the land to developers to have affordable housing. Oh, I hear you. Eatonville must keep its soul. I will drag myself on my elbows and scratch and claw in the dirt to ensure this town is not sodomized again and again and again. I think we all have the same heart. We can work together. But I'm not sure I thought we were flanking about something that's like a responsibility to the people that suffer to create this.
We have Dr. Candace Finley.
Evening, town residents, mayor, council. My name is Dr. Candace Finley. I'm the founder and executive director of STEAM Learning Inc. I just wanted to invite the town community members to our 2 events that we have coming up. First one is on May the 18th from 11 to 5. It's called the STEAM Day. So we're just trying to increase STEAM project and learning opportunities for the community, more primarily for our youth and our young adults, to try to close the gap in the industry by doing project-based learning programs, workforce development, and so forth. So we have an event again, May the 18th from 11 to 5 p.m. We have our first esports tournament. If you guys are not familiar with esports, we're trying to get our young people into esports because it's $1 billion industry, and they have it on their phones. They have it at home. They just need to be opened up to the opportunity to have careers in esports. We're going to have VR stations, food, bounce house, STEAM activities from our STEAM partners, and much more. So please, you guys come on out. Again, it's a free event. Bring the family, because it's most importantly, our adults need to be more aware about STEAM as well. We're the first support system of our youth. So please come out. The second event that we have, or line of events coming up, is 1887 Juneteenth Celebration Week. It's happening right here in Eatonville. Please come out June 14th through the 19th. You can go on our website 1887juneteenth.com and see all our events that we'll be having going on. On the 14th, it'll start with the Riot Student Skate Jam. This is an outdoor skating event for our community that'll be going on in the parking lot between the Denton Johnson Center and the Boys and Girls Club. Then we'll go into Saturday with our festival, our celebration. Again, and I forgot, we are partnered with the town of Eatonville to do this for the second year. So I thank you guys for your support as well again. So we'll be doing that celebration on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have Fishing with Fathers. We're catering to our fathers in Eatonville, providing them with a nice event at Lake King or Catalina Park for our residents. Then the next day, Monday, we have the Power of Flowers. We are giving out flowers to our seniors. So Eatonville residents, if you have a loved one, a senior that you would like to receive flowers, please go to our website and sign them up. We have, that's Monday, Tuesday, it will be a Journey to Freedom. That's a librarian event. And again, all these events that we have going on, we are collaborating with the community. We want to set the tone. We want to change the narrative that we can work together. Progress to understand, it takes time, but again, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're here to do. So on Wednesday, well, no, that is Tuesday, will be the library event. It's a virtual event as well as come in. It's at 11:30. Thank you.
We have Mr. Anthony Grant.
Good evening, Mayor. I'll be real brief. Representative from this minimal on leadership. I appreciate the leadership. Julian Johnson. That's something very good. That's some good stuff. And perhaps the council should, on the advisory committee, to take a look at it and study it and make a recommendation to council. That's good stuff. That's out of the box thinking. Is exactly what we need. I'll be very brief. Mayor, did the town council formally adopt a presentation for the museum? I had an opportunity to look at it online, and I had some challenges for me. Did they formally adopt an official presentation, or did you hire lobbyists to help you on the back end with the legislators or those members on the board?
Just the task force was created, but there was something that came before the council to adopt.
One thing, I disagree with him on theory on a lot of issues, but I think she would have put together a heck of a presentation for you to present and for the town. A couple questions. The stormwater fee, is that now going to be on the tax roll? Yes. So did you study how many people have had their property taxes under siege historically over 5 years? How many foreclosures? Those people struggle out here every day to pay their property taxes at the end of the year. Their homes go to auction. So when you add $50, $100, if they can't pay the existing, how are they going to pay the addition? It's easier for somebody to pay $5 a month than that extra on the back end. So did you do any type of study for you in such an ordinance?
No, I mean, we can get back and let you know. I don't know.
My question is, did you do any kind of study?
Our finance team did do some study with the county on it. She's not here at the moment, but I can definitely talk about it.
Has Orange County ever put us on notice that about our sewage wholesale? Because I'm sitting about on screen because I'm hearing that we may be looking at doing a stormwater treatment, a sewage treatment, wastewater.
So real quickly to that, there is discussion within our master planning to do some analysis on if we can host an actual treatment facility.
City of Alamo Springs, put us on notice. No. Okay. Because wherever you put it, it's going to be downwind, west, east, north, south. There's nowhere you can put a sewage treatment plant without affecting somebody's front door, back door, and side door. And I just got some real issues with moving forward. But I don't see that. I was really taken aback by that. So having said that, Mayor, like I said, in-running theory would have been on point with such a presentation. And perhaps we could have tapped her. I don't know if you did or not. But Mr. Johnson, I'd like to get with you on that. If any way I can help, because I think some real benefit is in store for that. So that's good stuff out of the box. Thank you.
Yes, John.
Hello. Hello, people. I'm here because I love historic town of Eatonville, and historic Eatonville has given my civic pride. If I said State of Florida Museum, you would say it's already in progress and moving forward. If I say Trojan Horse, you would say why? The museum is a Trojan horse because it's what's in it. Eatonville will have no control of the museum. It would allow corruption, bureaucracy 10 acres at a time. During the task force meeting, they told Shan from the CRA that we don't need your design or anything like that because Family Architectural School will be doing the design. We just need your land. What is in the police? Some of these things that are in the Trojan Horse is the Police Institute. They've come to town twice. They work with Bruce Mount. Lisa Fratelli brought them in here, and Lisa Fratelli was working with the development group, the first development group, to help develop the Hungerford property. So there's a conflict of interest there. Terry Plato's in there. He works with Lyft. He was a founding member of Lyft. He's on Dr. Phil's board, and now he's a part of the team that was in Tallahassee. Conflict of interest there. Police did the downtown Paramore. Police also did Westlake over by the Citrus Bowl. Not saying these aren't good organizations, but particular investors has a conflict of interest. There are many other organizations that can do the study with no question asked. The town people trust you guys to represent them. Whatever the project that comes into the town in the Ville will affect the people. When the developer leaves, in order for the town to maintain whatever the developer builds, the town is going to have to raise those property taxes, and that's what pushes the people out. You're going to raise the taxes. We've got super seniors that live in here, and so they're not going to be able to pay those taxes. They're going to double, triple. Good example, look at Paramore. Where are the black people? Look at Hannibal Square. Where are the black people? Some of the black people are in Eatonville. That's where they are. They got pushed over here. You heard the word Chocolate City? They got pushed here because of development. If we don't do a study on the development to pay what their investment when they before and after, we'll do it. The Ben Smith Hotel Motel is a good example. The purchase of the property, the owner needs to make a property. The real estate, just like Keller Williams said, that apartments are going for $1,200 a month. The owner has to make a profit, good man. He's got to push those people out if they can't afford that $1,200. So if you take a drive around Eatonville and look on the benches, look at the park about a tennis court, those people are sleeping in our parks now. And that's what happened when you bring the big development in and build affordable housing. It pushes the people out of their homes and puts them on the street. When you hear about Pine Hills, those people are from downtown Orlando. And if I got 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. The next one and the last one is Captain Mill.
Council, Mayor, Vice Mayor, good afternoon. My name is Kathy Mills. I live at 318 Green Street in Catalina Park. I've been there for 43 years. We have gators in our lake. Okay, lots of them. There, we call wildlife preserve. They said we have some kind of easement, and the town of Eatonville should call the wildlife preserve to get those gators out of the lake. I didn't specifically come here to talk about the gators in the lake, but we have them and they need to be gone. They're coming to the edge of people's homes. I have photos of a gator right at the edge of someone's home. So I don't know, wildlife says the town of Eatonville have to call them about the easement. So if you all can take care of that, it's really scary going in your backyard and seeing a gator out there with the sun beaming down and it's mating season and they're coming to the edge. My second thing is 41 Lincoln Avenue where my son lives. My son Nicholas O'Hara. Everything has been put it on the agenda. It's gonna be on this agenda. What is happening is never knew there was a septic tank behind his house until there was a problem. There are several homes have septic tanks and paying sewage. Everybody needs to look behind their backyard and see if you have a septic tank of sewage. Anyhow, I've been on the agenda since March. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna get done. Please, somebody get it done. My son, Nicholas O'Hara, he's been in the hospital because of the backup at his home. Nobody wants a backup at their home. And to pay from 1970, when my grandmother lived in that home, the sewage until 2024, that's a problem for me. So I'm asking the town council to really look into this issue because it needs to be looked into. There are other ways around it. I don't want those ways around it. I love the town. I love being a citizen. I volunteer to the seniors in this town. Right now, I'm in the town of Eatonville to volunteer for me and my son. Thank you.
That was the last question.
Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the first reading of ordinance 2024-1.
Ordinance 2024-1, an ordinance of the town of Eatonville, Florida, extending and or readopting temporary moratorium on the issuance of building permits for new multifamily, mixed use and commercial developments for 180 days or 90 days after the adoption of an impact fee ordinance, whichever is earlier, providing legislative findings, providing for the extended terms, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Councilman, did you want to say anything before?
No, the title pretty much says it all. It is a temporary, it's extending the temporary moratorium at the earliest of those 2 dates.
The only thing I'd add is that it is, make sure it's known that the residential single family have been taken out of that in that process, so that'll allow those that have residential homes to still receive. But that will just handle all of our mixed use and larger commercial projects that possibly could come.
All right, that being said, this item is now open for public comment. If you would like to speak to this item, go to the lectern.
Thanks again, Mayor. I appreciate you all taking the single family out. But are you addressing these smaller commercial buildings? So what if somebody wants to build a 5,000 square feet building? Are they going to be subject to this moratorium? Because we were told originally last year that this was going to be done about November. So here we are in May, and we're asking for another extension. So, and I understand what you're trying to accomplish, but would you actually, I'm gonna ask, would you take a look at a smaller, at least those people that want to build a 5,000 or less or 40, whatever square footage you determine, a little small mom and pop business or convenience store, whatever, that you would at least consider that. My other question to you, I read the preamble. I didn't see the ordinance, the whole ordinance in the council packet. I don't know where I was in the council packet. I saw a couple pages. But in the preamble, we talked about extending or readopting. How do you extend a ordinance that's already been expired? Should this be newly readopted?
It's the readopting of it. I think and legal can talk on it. We discussed that.
Okay, because it said extending and or readopting. So in the language of the preamble.
So the original ordinance, 2023-6 had a provision in there that allowed for the moratorium to be extended, provided that there was good cause or excusable.
No, I get that. I just never heard of you extending something that already expired.
Yeah.
Normally extending it means to extend it before it expired. That's my question. All right, thank you.
Can you go back and re-explain that part on the readopting of the temporary moratorium?
So the original ordinance had a provision in there that provided that the temporary moratorium can be extended upon good cause or excusable neglect. The whereas portion of this current ordinance, on page 1, has the provision in there for good cause, which would give the reason to, temporarily extend the moratorium.
Up to, what's the time period?
Up to 180 days after the effective date, or 90 days after the adoption of a new impact fee ordinance, whichever is earlier. That's on page 2 under section 2.
I think that we can also go ahead and address the fact that if this is just the first reading, it's not official until the second reading. So if there are any smaller commercial plans, they
Could be, I just need direction from council to do so. That's something you so desire to do.
I don't feel comfortable with this until we look at the ordinance for the 2023-6. Did you say that? Because I don't have a copy of it. And it should have been included in the package.
And I know we're in the process of the first reading, and we gotta come to the second reading, or in the next meeting, is it possibility we can table this item and kind of like with Randolph and with Councilman Randolph stated about looking at the 23 ordinance to make sure that we're lining up. And I know like as Mayor said, looking at all the details that was involved in this right here in terms of just expired. Now we're in the term of trying to break. So the language says, so we know it's expired, but I know in the language it's saying redo. So where do we stand with that? I know the attorney had made a statement in terms of, you know, how it should be language, but I think it's something that we definitely need to dot our I's and cross our T's on, and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to make sure that it's right. So if we can possibly table it, so we can make sure that we're currently on the right page in terms of moving forward with changing this particular ordinance, I think that'd be in our best interest, and it'd probably be the most educated decision that we can make as well. My opinion, like I said, we got 5 people that sit up here, so everybody's entitled.
I'm just getting something. This temporary moratorium was adopted on May 2nd, 2023. It is May 24/7, and we haven't did no kind of progress on this.
Well, absolutely. We have the draft that is ready to go. That's why we only did 180 days. We'll have that done within that time frame. As you know, when we had the previous workshop, we discussed why the delays were there. And I mean, we can revisit that again if that's what you're so desired. However, we do have the actual draft of the impact fee schedule. We're scheduling, we're in the process of scheduling the meetings to have the community that requires for it, and then we'll be preparing it for that. The whole purpose of that was to allow us time to make sure the impact fee study had the right numbers, and we could present that back to council.
But my main issue with administration is it's taking too long to do anything right here. I mean, this is just not. I mean, this whole year, and some things is. I think some things should be done. Small things should be done quicker, faster for this community. And this here for a whole year to go on, and that's the only thing I was talking about. But right now, this is on the table for me right now. We're taking too long to get some things accomplished. It's too long, and I don't know who headed this and the hours you guys putting into it. I don't think it's not good. It don't look good to me. I'm like seeing this date, I'm like 2023 here, it was 2024, same year. So
and I agree, but this is in regards to the impact fees, and I can't go back. So yes, it would have been great if we could have just turned it around like we initially expected, but we're almost at the end now. And although it is frustrating, what do we do? Just stop it? You know, and I know you want to go back and look at the old ordinance, but at this point, we just need to extend it until the impact fee, the fee, and all that whole process is completed to bring it to the council. So if we stop it now, that part is gonna drag on even further. We're removing the residential, which was one of the biggest issues before. So that's not holding that up anymore. I don't see any reason why fault the administration, but don't hurt the town. And if we don't hurry and get these things in place, we will be doing just that.
Well, I know you stated, that, we stop. No, we don't stop. We continue. And I think we need to definitely, hold, our, administration accountable for everything that comes before us, especially when we have to make, crucial decisions based on, like you said, concerning the community, right? I don't want to sit up here and make an uneducated decision based off of what I got in front of me, if I'm not really digesting what it is that I need to understand. And you gotta understand too, this is new news to me, this is new business, because I'm just getting on council, and I think I need to be a little bit more, forthcoming with understanding what's necessarily in here. And everything's gonna come to full fruition, once I do get that understanding. And I know we're at the first reading, and I understand the frustration that, this particular item brings, but I think we definitely need to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's on every event. Anything that's coming before this council need to be addressed. That's why I seek meetings with particular people before even coming up here. And I'll speak more on that, during my report, but, we just need to be, more attentive to what, is in front of us, especially from the administration part. I don't have an administration, that's the mayor's job, so we definitely need to make sure that we're doing, our due diligence and moving forward and being good stewards and, making sure that we're handling town business, appropriately.
I think one of the issues, not issues, but we have a first and a second reading, as you stated before. So in between the first reading to the second reading, there is time to review. If you choose not to follow that second vote. But I think that we should at least pass the first reading. Because the first ordinance was discussed. Impact fees are needed. They have been requested for the longest, and now we're almost there and we're gonna slow it up. It's already been slowed up for whatever reasons, but we're there. So at least get through the first reading. If there are concerns, then let's go ahead and hash those out and maybe not pass. That's your vote for the second reading, but at least let the first reading go ahead and get passed.
So, my question is, what's gonna be different from the first reading, second reading? How much time, something will get accomplished between that time? Or we just still come back and shoot it down second time around? That's,
I don't know.
The only difference that would be in the second reading is if you are asking to make any modifications to it. I am currently sending over a copy, an additional copy for the ordinance that was set back on 2023-6 that you can have in your read file as well if you want to review it additionally. However, outside of what was comment made by our resident, I need to know if that's something you're looking to add into it for the second reading if we proceed forward like this.
Yeah, I think with me, like I said, everybody else been set up there the last 2 years. I'm just currently getting up here. And I understand the idea of us having impact fees, because I think it's very important that we do associate impact fees with any kind of development that we have in this community. But I definitely want to make sure that we're lining up with everything according to the ordinance that we have in front of us too, versus the 23 ordinance that I've had an opportunity to look at and glance over, but not really digest it the way that I really need to digest it. In terms of lining up with the 24. So I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to understand everything that's in front of me, even though I've read through the whole package of it. But whether we pass it or not pass, I know we got a second reading, but like I said, just put our conviction on what it is that's in front of us, and moving forward, we can make that decision in the second reading instead of sitting up here, going back and forth about it. But we definitely got to make sure that we're lining up with everything that is associated with these different ordinances that in our hands.
Yeah, darn.
Great. Councilwoman?
Yes, I agree with Councilman Mack and also Councilman Washington on their views on this. you know, this has been pushed to the side for a year now, including the impact fees. I know you say this may not have anything to do with it, but when are we going to get this taken care of? And what is the problem with the administration not being able to carry this through? I should not have to come to a meeting and have to vote on something that I don't have all the information in front of me. That is not fair to me, and it's not fair to the residents. When are we going to get on board to provide us the necessary tools that we need in order for us to do our job?
And clarity, the ordinance was in the package of the workshop we did last month with that, but I can definitely make sure in the future if you want that added. In regards to the time frame, you know, at the time that this was actually submitted, we didn't have full staffing levels to work alongside with the consultant at the time. And so we were in the process of hiring a public works director, trying to get our planning squared away. We did have we were still working on just getting the proper staffing levels in our departments. And so about halfway through the mid-year, we finally got there. On top of, while we were going through the data, all of the information for the impact fees that we needed was not in place. And so we had to work with staff to find the proper documentation to start getting over to the consultant so they can properly assess this. So it wasn't like all the information was just sitting on someone's desk and not given anyone. It was still not having the proper staffing levels, the proper skill set in place, you know, precluded to the length of this. It wasn't just being overlooked. In regards to your statement about the ordinance, again, those items were made aware in the workshop. It was not attached to this here, but it is readily available, and I'll make sure that's adjusted in the future.
I don't know whether or not, okay, please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What's, legal, what is the timeline for a study, any study? I know there's different times or studies. I mean, what's the timeline on a study like this? You know,
I mean, it just, at some, you know, some municipalities will have it for 6 months, some it takes a year and a half. Just depends.
And I will tell you this, I did get recommendations from Maitland and Winter Park on their studies, and theirs were in the same time frame. You know, just depends on where information that is needed for that particular study is readily available, or if it has to be prepared and then submitted to the consultant.
And I think that's really why the prior ordinance was for 365 days, because those studies do take quite a while.
Can we ask a question?
And perhaps if we had had one before and we're just updating our impact fees, it would be quicker, but this is the first time I think that we've gone through and this whole step. So, and that's a forward movement. So, like I said, fault this administration, but it's all about trying to move forward. I mean, this is about impact fees. You know, so you can keep beating me up, that's okay, but let's move forward. Let's just, and I'm just saying that, but let's just move forward. I mean, I can't say that enough. So we're gonna go ahead. Yes.
We have heard there was not an official close of the
I'm
public.
sorry.
We do have, we got members from the public that want to speak. And I think the first one was Angela Johnson. You can go in your place.
This is for clarity for everyone in here. If we don't pass this, does that put us in a vulnerable position? We don't have a CBA, we don't have impact fees. Nobody could benefit if somebody comes in here and builds something. Is that the case? Is that what you're implying? So are we saying 180 days to finish everything, correct? And all right, it's 180 days. Like, I look at it like, okay, at the end of the day, it took a year. Yeah, we hold them accountable, but just let the 180 days go by, because anybody can come in here, right? We're talking about planning and zoning. You know, we've seen what happened during Hungerford, so I don't understand what the argument is. I guess from my understanding, if y'all could let me understand or help me understand more, because if we're at a vulnerable position, what are we fighting? I get that they took home, but at the end of the day, if we all can get hurt from it, why are we fighting against it? I guess I just need clarity.
Okay, thank you for allowing us to speak. So I too, that was the point that I was making. We all understand that we're a year after the anticipated formal adoption of the impact fees, but we also know that for the last 2 years, we've been talking about the need for the town to implement impact fees because of the financial state that we're in. And so last year, when most of the opposition that you heard was from individuals that wanted to build small residential homes. So now you're addressing that small piece by taking it out. Then you just heard a request for maybe small commercial, 5,000 square feet or less. I agree with what Mr. Johnson just said. Why are we continuing to argue about things that are going to, in my opinion, be a detriment to the town? The impact fees are there for you to generate the revenue when development starts. So let's put our egos aside, people. Work on, you got 180 days. Let's get it done and get it across the finish line. So that was my.
Okay, I'm going to officially close the public speaking. Thank you. Thank you.
You can't answer our questions.
All right, so
We don't sit here and have a discussion. They don't know.
so we're gonna go ahead and put on the floor for vote. Are we ready?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just assume that we are going to re-adopt this for the development for the 180 days. Or is it 9, and then you say over here 9 days after the adoption of the impact fee ordinance?
Whichever one comes quicker.
Whatever comes first. Okay. All right. So in the meantime, if this passed tonight, when does it come back up for the second reading?
And that's what needs to be discussed.
So it would be the next meeting.
Okay, so presuming that we are going to get a copy of the 2023-6 after, let's say, assume that this passes. We have time in between before the second reading. Is that correct?
Yes.
That we can make any changes?
Yes.
Or
Yes, you do have that time, but I just need to make sure I get in so we can do a public notice of it prior to the second read.
So you'd have to provide that 10 days before the hearing. So your time is cut down in half until the next hearing.
okay. All right.
And the way the prior ordinance reads, it's that any extension can be made only once.
Okay.
So
Okay. I think I'm in favor of that.
I don't think we have enough time to move up this second. Yeah, we don't. So, okay. All right, so you've heard the preamble. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2024-1?
Move, yeah.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. First reading is approved. I need to take a point of privilege. We have the fourth student come in, and I meant to say it after the citizens finished speaking, and I completely forgot. And it is getting late, so if you would please allow me to interject our final star student. This is Uncle you. Jacqueline Cobb from Hungerford Elementary.
One second. Capture her.
Oh.
Okay, now.
The consent agenda when we approve when we approve the, agenda, item 2 should have been, tabled, the applicant rescinded. So when we approve the consent agenda, it's only, I don't know if I can just do that. Can I just say it, then we approve the consent agenda?
If it's been rescinded, then yes, you can just approve the consent agenda without that.
All right.
I have some 3 council decisions.
But we approved the agenda with number 3 in the consent agenda. Number 2 is NA because we don't have an applicant. But there is, I would say now it's too late to remove 1 or 3.
Can you rescind that? Council?
You can, you have previously approved it, but if you wanted to rescind it and move it down, then you technically.
I move to rescind. Go over the language.
That's a motion to rescind.
So it'd be just a motion to rescind and move consent agenda item 3 to council.
So it would have to be, so the motion would be to
The motion would
take
be,
item 3 and make the council decision.
yes,
Remove it from the consent agenda and make it a council decision. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to move item 3 to council decisions. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Do we need to roll call?
No, I haven't.
All right. So consent agenda, is there a motion to approve item number 1?
You could,
no,
so since it's on the consent agenda, it would just be a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda, which right now would be items number 1 and items number 3.
But I thought we just rescinded.
Number 3, 2, they,
Yes,
Motion failed.
motion failed because of a 3, 2.
I think the motion passed.
Motion passed.
That's fine.
Motion
That's really why we need to vote out loud. We need to vote out loud.
That's it. 2 affirmative votes.
But also, if you go according to standard, the third one, that silence is the yes in those cases, unfortunately.
Attorney Shepherd said it was a no. vote.
Silent is usually a no vote.
It's a no
So
vote.
hold on, what is it before we move forward? Because everything is on record.
It's a 2-2.
So silent would be a no vote.
Yes.
That wasn't, that hasn't been the standard here. Silent has always been a yes.
It's not been a
It's
practice.
always been a yes.
Robert's rule says silence means no.
It does, however, at the last meeting, if I remember correctly, it was agreed upon and discussed that silence was a yes. Now, whether it follows the rules or not, that is a practice that has been.
No, what he said was, everybody need to make a vote verbally, that's what he said. Say yeah, nay.
Mrs. King, would you please just Google? Every time. Every
This is for rescinding.
If you don't mind, let's take a clear vote for the rescission of item 3 to council decision.
Councilman Matt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Randolph,
yes,
Councilman Daniel,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Washington. Mayor Garner.
Nay. So now we're going to approve a motion to approve the consent agenda for item number 1 with number 2 in it.
Second, hold up, question. Can you repeat that, please?
For the consent agenda, item 2 no longer applies because the applicant rescinded their name. So the only item left is item number 1, approval of the minute. 3 has been moved to council decision.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. So now we have the council decision approval to hire a recreation director for the town of Eatonville. Is there a motion?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All,
Director,
yes.
okay. With this, recreation director, I know I spoke on it, and, you know, kind of thing, I know we've been here for a while. We're taking, this money out of the line item that we had enough for some time now. And I think it's gonna be a good deal for us to do it, but we gotta make sure that, we got some programs that's gonna be, I know we gotta get the director to make sure that we got the programs, but I wanna make sure that we're gonna actually have the programs in place, because we've said this before and got in the position of not having programs in place and having a director. That's what we got rid of the first time, by removing the director line in terms of the salary. So I wanna make sure that we're down the i's and crossing our t's and being very strategic and moving forward with having this position do what it do in terms of moving forward with making things happen in the community for our youth. Okay? And that's it.
All right, so are you trying to ask a question?
Yeah. I was
Oh,
trying to
okay,
get your
Councilwoman.
attention. All right, thank you. Yeah, I had concerns about the recreation director position. As to having programs, and got more clarification from Mr. Presley about it. And I just want to make sure that we do have programs here in Eatonville for our youth. However, the issue that I see here on the cover sheet on the back, where it says fiscal efficiency data, it says that the current budget for this position is $50,000. So the request for a new director based upon qualifications is $41,500 to $55,000. And it says here that for the remainder of the 9 payrolls left, that amount, the $20,000, is taken from the contingency. Okay, now that's the justification. However, when I do the math here, based upon you taking $20,494 out of the to move that over for 9 payrolls, that adds up to $2,277 every payroll, which comes up to $1,138 a week. However, when you do the math for 52 weeks out of a year, the amount over exceeds the budget.
Great.
So it comes up to $59,000 when you're saying that the range is from 41,000 to 55,000. So you're over your budget.
But it's not over in the budget. What is included in there is the fringe benefits. So that has to be included in there separate from the salary. So that's why you see the increase in that amount that we're requesting. Because the first part is, of course, the salary, but then you also have the fringe benefits, which is your health benefits and so forth. That's included in there.
So you say fringe benefits is included in
the cost we're requesting in the budget amendment.
okay.
So the salary will still be based off the 55,000, which will get you the per, I don't have it from that, Ms. King, Ms. Gibson is not here.
So what will be the starting salary? That's the salary range that we as the council, that's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to set the salary.
So what we're requesting is the range. So say for instance, that just comes in and we hire them at 55,000, which is the highest of that range. We had to make sure the budget allotted. So once we actually hire or get the person in, go through the interviews, then we'll set the actual budget for, or set the amount for that salary.
Okay, now who makes the decision as to what the salary would be?
It was my understanding that it is done through the administration and is confirmed by the council or directors.
Okay, right. Just make sure that happens.
So it's been moved and seconded, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, that's the last item on the agenda. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. To town residents, a few updates here, just gonna get into the computer. just a few updates and responses to a couple of the questions that came through. In regards to the CBA, just needed a little more direction. Mr. Johnson, of course, was made aware that, of course, it had to be requested by the council in order for it to go on the actual workshop or agenda. Is that the pleasure of the council to put it on the workshop? Okay, so we'll work with them in that. And then also, I don't know if Ryan can, Mr. Knight can speak to Mr. Shepherd's comments in regards to the actual agreement. He did mention that there were some legal things that need to be clarified on the side of the CBA group to make sure it was in there. So I just need to know, are we authorizing the town assistance to put that agreement together? Or, and then also, and I'm just trying to make sure we get all this correctly, there was also a comment made to have a task or some type of advisory board for. So I just need a little clarity on how we want to move forward with getting this information.
I thought initially it's for discussion,
So you want to do the workshop?
to do the workshop on the different components. That was my understanding.
Okay, and then in regards to the legal parts of the CBA ordinance being brought back, do you want our staff, our in-house attorney to work on getting that information together for the workshop?
I mean, that would be a cost. I mean, I would think we at least discuss it first and then the attorneys can glean information from that discussion. And then if we want to take the next step, we can make that known.
Okay.
On that workshop.
Then just want to make sure I had it clear because there were several things that we discussed regarding.
If anything but billing.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, please, with us.
Yes, sir. Also, I did ask Ms. Valerie to come in to speak briefly on the trash. If council would like to hear any more updates on that in case there was something. We have created a chart where we collect the data of those calls that come in through a workshop point or through a work order system. So we are tracking the number of calls we get monthly for that. We are administering the rules that are applied by the ordinance and the agreed upon agreements with that contractor. So all those steps are being followed. But I do think some of, we're still working on the communication of how and what exceeds that standard. So just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that. And unless you have some questions for her, I just wanted her to be available if you had any questions about the trash. From council, we heard from the community.
Oh, I definitely have some, but I'll leave for my report.
Okay, so you're going for your report, okay? Just stay by just in case you have those questions. And then lastly, just a few updates on a few items. We are close to getting the master plan review board together. So I think there's a draft that's been put together by the task force or by the collaboratives, which is Polis, the National Trust, and Baker Barrios. So we're now preparing that to bring so we can get the community input on bringing that draft schedule together and getting the approval so that the dates coincide with the community's availability and make sure we have the best input we can have along with that. And so we are starting also to put in community members and stakeholders into that group as we build it up for that. We've discussed the solid waste impact fees. The mayor's state of the town address is on May 24th at 6 p.m. Please mark your calendars. Council, we'd love for you to be there to be part of that event at the Denton Johnson Center. The pool reopening is set for May 25th. Also, all of this information has been placed in our latest newsletter that is available electronically, and we have some hard copies for that. And I believe this week the door-to-door pass out of those newsletters will go this week for community. We are very close to, we are submitting the application for the clean water and the drinking water grants. We had a preliminary meeting with Public Works and the DEP to make sure we had all of the compliances in place. One of the things that goes with that is an asset management plan. It was an update done in 2018. So we're able to pull that information. And for the council and community to know, several of those items that were on there that was needed to be done, such as the valve assessment, the tower restoration, along with creating water master plans, we have done over the last year. And so those items have been included in there, and the updated information will be in that new asset management plan that will coincide with requesting information from the DEP and the SRF funding opportunity. So just wanted to give a hats off to our public works director and her team, making sure that information is being done and readily available for that. Along with that asset management plan that's underway with the Florida Rural Water, who we have a continued services agreement with. The West Kennedy Boulevard widening project is still underway. We have a meeting on Thursday, I believe, with them to discuss some of the areas to look at opportunities for connectivity. Councilman Mack has requested about sidewalks, so we're trying to find out what those options we have in the time frame of that project actually taking place. The latest time frame was somewhere between October and January that it would actually start on the first phase. So of course we have our collaborative consultants with the EPA, which is R2P2, that is assisting with helping to make sure there's still connectivity with the widening of that project on that, as well as looking at some of the commerce opportunities that will associate with that. To keep it brief, not to belabor, we've had several meetings and several RFPs will be going out real soon for procurement, such as the grant and the engineering services for the 5.9 that will be going out hopefully within the next 30 days to hit the streets and start that project. We're very close to getting the marine lift station off and running. The NEPA and the different parts, components of that have already been taken care of. And then also, as we state with the SRF, moving on that, and I believe we're very close to getting the community policing grant going up and going. So that's all working on that. So just a few updates on some of the grants. We have submitted 2 new grants with Congressman Frost's office. One is for the Denton Johnson. As you know, we did do the broadband, but it was rejected from the funding that came with that. But the Congressman Frost's office see it as an opportunity for appropriation dollars to go towards the Denton Johnson project for the technology hub and the portion of that. So that is there. And then also for the East Kennedy Streetscape funding improvements for that. So that would require some additional studies to the conceptual designs that we have to that to get that formulated. Those are 2 that we're currently looking at. And again, in your newsletter, have all current and opportunities for that. I believe that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you, and we'll continue to work on council to get these things done.
Thank you.
No, just if anyone has questions regarding the prior ordinance 2020 or 2023-6, just let us know. We'll get that to you or get any kind of clarification you need on that.
So who's gonna give it to us, Mr. Presley?
You should have it in your email tonight. Already sent it over. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, Councilman Daniels.
Just want to give a kudos to this Teacher Appreciation Week. Just want to thank all the teachers for their sacrifice of teaching our kids. Do something nice for a teacher if you can, and that's my report.
Councilman.
I'll be real brief. I'll piggyback on what Councilman Daniels said about that particular item. Then just for the kids that was already on that the recipient tonight. Kudos to them. And then like Councilman Washington said, we need more males involved. So we got to definitely make sure that we're paving the way to make sure that we got more males involved in these particular ceremonies as well. Let me go ahead and start from the top with Deacon Jones. I know we've had some complaints with citizens complaining about no lights down there in certain areas. So it's really pitch dark at nighttime. So if you could definitely look into that, Mayor, I definitely appreciate it. And then also the trash pickup. I know we've had a lot of complaints about the trash not being picked up properly. So we can continue paving the way on trying to get that situated. And then the bears in the area, also in the 17 acres that we have over there. We had numbers of people reach out to me complaining about bear sites and bears in their yard, et cetera, et cetera. If we can definitely look at that, that'll be great as well. And then also with the alligator situation that we got in Cali Park, all the lakes that we have around in Eatonville, you're gonna have that. We can definitely reach out to wildlife and particularly see if they can come and help us out and trying to get some of those alligators out of here. That'd be great.
sidewalk down here by the Chamber of Commerce. I had a citizen that actually reached out to me and told me to take a walk from the Commerce, put me down to I-4 and tell me what I think. And I took the opportunity to do that, and it was pretty atrocious, to be quite frankly, because of the sidewalks, they're broken out really bad. And the reason he had that concern is because he was walking his grandkids and they almost tripped walking on the sidewalk. But not only that, I think we need to make sure that we're getting the people that, the Claytons or whoever it is that own that property, where the trees are like just hanging over, people can't even walk down the sidewalk. We should have citizens be able to walk down the sidewalk, especially when they're, walking home with the kids or whatever. So if we can address that, that'd be great as well. And also I had an event, on this past Saturday, my first event. Other year, I plan on having a lot more. I think it's gonna be good for the community. But with that being said, I think with staff member, and I know I had opportunity to speak with Mary during the event. If you guys could please, anytime we're having a town event, regardless if I'm having it or anybody up here having it, please make sure that we're actually putting these things or reaching out to us to put it on the website. Because it's kind of frustrating to see the website and not see the event that is for the town, the people, for say, and that was a little disturbing to me. And I could have did a little bit more too with reaching out to staff, but I think all the other things that I see on there, I would thought they would put it on there. So with that being said, please kind of look into that. And one of the bigger issues I have too is with Ms. Mills and Mr. Nicholas with the water condition. And I can recall sitting up here about 5 years ago, we had a gentleman that had a water situation, not quite as this one, I don't think, because the water was off like 5 years and we wasn't aware of it. And that's problematic. And for her and her son that had a condition that they're having, us as a town and as a legislative body, we got to make sure that we're doing everything in our might to make sure that we're moving forward with getting any kind of resources to be able to help them, especially on the public road side. Ms. Monday, I know you and I have had several conversations about it, and if you can speak on it, that'd be great.
Yes, I've been working consistently with Kathy Mills and her son. And what we've been able to do is find some solutions. We've identified there's actually a sewer lateral that comes very close to the property line. So that helped us out quite a bit because initially we thought we had to cut through the pavement and it would be expensive down. She's got to bring, she's got a plumber that has given us a price to bring it from her home to the property line. That proposal we have in hand and we've turned it over to CRA. CRA will be bringing it to the next CRA meeting to get approval for that work from the home to the property line. And then somehow we'll get that connection to the main, so, or to the lateral. So we have the next CRA meeting, next CRA meeting, we will have that should have that resolved. That's scheduled to be on the agenda.
I got a question, because to me now, just me, I feel like this is an emergency, nothing that we can wait, we can prove for. We need to be addressing it now, even if we have to have a special meeting to make sure that we're addressing this issue, because I'm going home to clean water. I'm going home and I'm able to flush my toilet. I'm going home and not having to smell the odor that's coming through here that's very hazardous to any citizen that's living in this community. And my job as a legislator is to make sure that every citizen in the town of Eatonville is safe. That is not safe. Sitting here, sitting on my hands, not doing anything to rectify the situation. And another thing I'm tired of talking about, and that's what I say about being transparent across the board with anything that you do in this community. We got to make sure that we're moving forward with putting everything forthcoming, man. We can't sit here and continue to sit on our hands. And I don't want to sit here and, throw punches at anybody because I'm not. I just want to make sense out of the whole situation that we're dealing with, because we've been dealing with this for about over 2 weeks when she came to me.
Can I speak to that? Valerie, can you speak to if her current system is not being pumped out because she has an actual septic tank? Right.
Right. They've been living with a septic tank that's been functioning. It stopped functioning because a pipe has broken from the home to the septic tank. So We tried, pumping out the septic tank. We have made efforts. We finally found out within the last month what the problem was. It was not the septic tank. It was the pipe was broken, the sewer pipe from, the plumbing pipe from the home to the septic tank. So that's, now we have the solution.
Okay,
Now
so
we
for clarity, that's on private property. And so we have to be careful just mitigating town funds to do private property work. That's why we're bringing it to the CRA from that assistance to assist with that. Now, negating should have already been connected. That's a whole nother item. That's why we're trying to find a expedited resource that's within something that we can stand behind in case we have any more situations. This is the reason why we're going this route, so we have a path forward. So it's not that, I understand the point where we're saying, let's do it right now, but we still have certain guidelines and protocols we have to follow.
I understand that, but my whole point is this right here. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and go back and forth with you about nothing, especially when it's concerning my citizens, who I work for. I work for them. And my job is to make sure that I'm doing everything in my might to make sure that they're getting every resource that they can get. And you got to remember what she said when she got up on this podium. She's been paying water bill and sewage ever since the 70s. You understand me? And we've been charging for something that she's not been using. So how are we gonna sit here and say we got all these different regulations and modifications that we gotta do to make sure that we're doing this properly? No, let's fix the problem, okay? That's my job as a leader up here, to legislate and make sure that I'm fixing the correct problem for the citizens. I work for them, okay? I wanna make sure that we're addressing this, Mayor Gardner, ASAP. And I'm not the mayor. That's your job because you're over the administrator. They can't get it, the job can't get done unless the administrator get job done. I can't sit here and point fingers and tell you to go and do it. That's your job as a mayor, to make sure that your administration is doing everything in their power to make sure that our citizens are taken care of, period. They're the CEOs of this community. There's no us without them, okay? And like I said, I don't want to continue having this problem that we've been having thus far with people coming up here all the time complaining about things that we can fix. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of people saying they're emailing people. Also, I get into more of that too. But like I said, at this point, Ms. Mill has a problem. Her son has an issue. We're going home tonight, like I stated. And this is something that's been a continuous thing that I've been sending out. I sent emails out all this week and yet to get a response. But we're in the meeting, yes, we're in the meeting right now. And people are talking about things that we need to do. The regulation, no, I don't want to hear that. But anyway, I'm gonna continue going. But Ms. Money, thank you so much. I'm finished with that. And also, thank you so much, Ms. Money. And just moving forward, with the National Police Week, I really, thank Chief Murray for just, coming over here, changing the whole trajectory of how he function as a police department. Thank you so much, man. I'm giving you flowers now because I see the difference that you're making in the community, and it means a lot because people are talking. And I walk the community. I don't just live here. I walk the community. I'm a grassroots guy. I've been here all my life. And what I'm going to continue to do is continue walking. I learned that strategy from some very significant people that taught me the value of understanding how to love one another too. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here and turn my back on my citizens once I get in office. My job is to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure they're okay. And with you serving over here and protecting us as we sleep, I salute you, man. For real. You're in the police department. It's also Representative Antoine. I don't know, he left. He was here earlier, and I can commend him for because I had an opportunity to watch that presentation with him fighting for us. That's what it's all about. We're the oldest Black municipality in America. That resonates with me. I don't know about nobody else. And I know a lot of people that sit up on this panel got great pride in it too. We don't want to lose the preservation of Eatonville. Okay, we want to make sure that we're fighting, but then, modest about everything we do also. We can't sit here and keep sitting on our hands when we can do things, guys. You know what I'm saying? We cannot continue doing that, and it's been a trend forever. We cannot continue doing that. We got to continue moving forward, making sure that we're building a foundation that's going to be for our kids. Because it was for us
Eatonville was established 1887, August 15th. That's 137 years ago, and we've been in good grace because God has built a fence around us. You understand me? We can't allow people to come over here and dictate on what's going on in our community. That's up to the people. That's why we got open public talk for the people to come up here and voice your opinion. That's what for y'all to do. You understand me? I don't make my conviction on doing anything without the voices of my people. You guys are important to me. That's why I make decisions the way I make them. Because your decision, your mind thinking is important to me because you really fear me to make good decisions by listening to your concerns. So continue doing it and advise anybody else to keep coming up here and coming to the council meeting. And I'm almost finished, y'all. Thanks for the community cookout that I had. It was outstanding. Anybody that didn't come out, you missed the blast. Ms. Johnson, I really appreciate you for coming out and always being a facilitator and helping me out in anything that I can do. Councilman Washington, thank you so much. I mean, Vice Mayor Washington, thank you so much. Mayor Gardner, thank you for coming out and participating and helping me. Just, that presence, it's very important that people in the community see that presence. And I think that should go for all of us. And I know things come up, life happens, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I can't bear everything in. But also, all my sponsors, Classic Development, 1887 First, CDC, J&L Consulting, Town of Eatonville, Crystal Bertram and King Bertram. Thank you guys so much for just giving me the grace of having the opportunity to have an event with the sponsorship. I know how hard it is to gather money, raise money for events that we want to have. And I told myself things that I want to implement, I'm going to try to raise on myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to use the town funds, even though there was a sponsor also. We got to continue reaching all across the aisle and asking our constituents to help us out. We really do, man. We're in a critical position right now. Speaking on the at large, this is a very serious situation people don't know about. And that goes along with the preserving and doing things that's going to be forthcoming to everybody. That's making sense for everybody. But I don't want to get too much into it now. But also, my question would be to you. I got a few questions for you before I close. Host that. When are we going to be finished with this project? It's been almost 3 years now. It's going on 3 years. So if you can kind of elaborate a little bit on the processing of what's taking so long with that particular item.
I can't elaborate on the reason why they're taking so long. I just know that it was extended through June of this year. And we requested Valerie and I have already requested a meeting to get an update. As soon as we get that meeting and the update, I'll send it to council to know where they're.
Okay, please tell me the exact time frame, and tell me how long.
Detailed time.
Tell me how long it's been since they've been actually developing over there or constructing. Okay, that'd be great too. And with that being said, I got this one last question for you. Have you received any emails from me regarding the follow-up on my cleanup for June 1st of this year?
Have I? Yes, sir.
So can I ask you another question? Why haven't you responded to it?
I'm not sure. I know we talked in person about.
No. I'm talking about the
email,
the recent email that I just sent
what day?
May 6th.
Yes, that's the one.
I'm asking, why didn't you respond?
We were still gathering all the information on it, and we talked last week. We talked on Thursday.
No, but not about this. Not this. Okay. Listen, and I'm not telling you what to do because listen, I'm just. This is the mayor. She runs the administration, right? But I'm suggesting to her, my recommendations to her. If I was the mayor, hey, listen, any administrator get any emails from, especially council, respond. Because if you don't respond, that gives me a lack of courage to depend on you.
Yes.
You understand me? And if I can't depend on you, I don't need you here. You understand? That's just my opinion now. And I don't want to be too around the corner with it, but I'm just being honest with you. That's very problematic for a council member to email whomever Cause I can tell you right now, I've emailed several staff members and I'm getting emails back immediately. Immediately. Almost, within 24 hours. But for you as the CAO, the Chief Administration Officer, under the leadership of the mayor, and a council member email you on anything, I don't care if I got a meeting tomorrow, you gotta make sure that you're being accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable. And then also, not only that, it's been several times, I verbally talked to you about a meeting, the one that you just talked about. We verbally talked about this and you assured that we would meet. And you also said that we'll meet at a specific time. Now, this is the problem that I have also. If I come to your office, and I did it out of courtesy, I went to the front desk and said, hey, could you see if Mr. President is ready? Oh, sure. You're not here. And guess who I'm meeting with in the presence of you? I didn't get a phone call, I didn't get an email, I didn't get no text. Hey, Councilman Mack, I'm not gonna be able to meet with you. I got Darius Washington, he's gonna assure that you got everything you need for the next day. My event, you're the CAO, it's a town event, and you're not present. I got a very serious problem with that. You didn't call me, I know that they get a text message or anything in regards to that. That's very problematic, right? And I did email you that night because I think you know better. Everybody grown, right? And I hate to say it in that language, but I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it alone. Anytime I'm verbally, and I'm not telling you, I'm requesting. Anytime I, verbally say something to you in terms of let's have a meeting and we agree to it, let's have a meeting. And also for the record too, if you can, email me this. Mayor Gardner, whoever it is. I want to know your hours from the time you work started here all the way to present. Your work schedule. I need to know that. I need to know that. Okay? With that being said, all minds are clear. That's my report.
Thank you.
That's our fault.
I won't be that hard. Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, the first thing that I have on my report today, and that is about I don't know, it was through Facebook or email or something floating out there with media about the water situation in the month of March. And it said that I guess the company that we contract with, there was a no test for E. coli in March. We just now finding out about this in the month of April. And to me, that's dissatisfactory. I know it says that it was an oversight. And according to the information, the bacteria levels were not harmful to the public. But just for that to happen and us not finding out about it, that really concerns me. Really, really concerns me. Because I know E. coli can be very dangerous. And especially to children who are under 5 years old. So I just want to know, why is it that it took 26 days for us to find out about this in Eatonville, when we have one of our major issues that we have is what, water. Can you explain?
Yeah, I can explain that certainly. Our operator is Biometrics. They're the company that does the testing. They test every day. They test for certain things weekly. And apparently they had a new employee that didn't pick up 2 tests in the month of March. They continued testing, and they were testing for the right items in April. When they turned all the reports in April, FDEP found out that they missed 2 tests in March. That at the end of April, they notified Biometrics that they missed taking 2 tests. Although the subsequent tests passed, there were 2 tests that they did not take, 2 reports that they did not turn in. Their FDP did not say there was a violation or any fault in the water process or the water condition. The problem was they missed taking 2 tests in the month of March, and they didn't find out. EP didn't find out until they looked at all the records and realized they missed 2 tests in March. So we are meeting with biometrics. We have an upcoming meeting with them. We need a written response from them. And DEP is also involved to find out why the operator missed those 2 tests in the month of March. There were no negative or no findings of any fault in the water system. It's just they missed taking 2 tests in the month of March. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that, and we'll update you on if there's any ramifications from that.
Okay, all right, we'll stay on top of that because, that company needs to be held accountable. If there was something that was really, we were at risk, E. coli can wipe out this whole town.
Absolutely.
But we don't want that to happen. I'm not trying to be any fear, but we have to really stay on top of that and monitor that and get back with us and let us know.
We're gonna look at our mechanisms and make sure that we follow behind our operator and make sure the stuff that they're turning in, we get copies of. We haven't read, we've been getting copies of what they're turning in, so that's a process that we can start establishing.
Okay, all right, since we were talking about administration earlier, I do have this on my notes here about the unfinished things that we have pending, the moratorium, the impact fees, the ordinance on the landlord tenant. We went through a series of that last year and nothing has happened. So I'd like to know, Mr. Presser, where are we with that as far as being enforceable?
I think that was a legal thing that was still left unpending. And I think that was tied to the code enforcement. I'll have to look into that. I would be guessing without counting.
Mr. Presley can get back with you.
Yeah, please get back to us and let us know what's going on with that. And some of the other things, I have on my agenda on May the 29th, a neighborhood meeting with Lake Lovely. It's one of the things that I'm working on. And also I have submitted today a proposal for a June business meeting with all the businesses here. So we can update them on issues concerning the town and anything that they need to know. And that would be a good opportunity for the trash containers to be prepared for that, as well as some of the other issues that they may be having. I haven't heard any plans on Founder's Day. So I don't know if you already have something in mind and maybe just have not revealed that to us. But as council members, I think it's very important for us to know what is going on with Founder's Day so we don't have to have our backs up against the wall at the last minute.
When we have plans, we'll get those. We'll bring them before the council. When we have.
I'd like to say that I spent some time with the auditors that do the auditing for the town. And it was just more or less the educational understanding for me in reading these reports about what is the meaning for a lot of the issues and terminology that they use in the audit. So when will the next one be available, be completed? The one that they're working on now?
Right, and that's finance. We have submitted the information to the auditors. They are actually here next week finalizing those details. And as soon as I get an actual draft date, I'll get that over to council.
Okay. I had a great opportunity for about 4 or 5 days. I want everyone to know that I met with the police chief, Chief Murray, at his department last week. And I went there as an understanding, and that's one of the things that I did before I ran for office. I went and asked permission, can I meet with the previous chief? And Chief Murray did the same thing. He walked me through everything concerning the department, the issues that they're having, the projects. And I just want to say that I really appreciate what the information that he shared with me. We talked about things concerning policing out here on the street, from budget concerns. You know, he went through everything. He has showed me on the wall all of his projects that he's working on, and also at the same time giving the officers some recognition. It's not all about the pay, it's recognizing what a great job that they do. And also I want to share that on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, this is an event then this is a booklet here. The candlelight service for 2024 Orange County Law Enforcement. I'm letting you all know that when you go to this, I was so proud of our Eatonville police officers and our chief. The level of participation in this was just way over my head. I felt like I was somewhere in Washington, DC at the White House. There were hundreds, almost 1,000 officers there from all different branches in front of the courthouse staff. And it was awesome. And I was so proud to see our people participating in this event. I think this was the first time, wasn't it, Chief? Wasn't this the first time participation?
We've set honor guard, in the past. We were definitely more inclusive this time.
Yes.
That's right.
So a lot of the dignitaries there, public officials, people from all over the county were there, from all branches of law enforcement. And I would like to say, I want to thank you all for inviting me to be a part of that, to actually see exactly what this is all about. And I have a heart for the late officer, Deborah Clayton. Her husband was there. It's all of the officers who died or lost their lives in the duty of serving us. So it was very awesome. Their families were there. Everybody was there. It was about 1,000 some people that was there. So I really appreciate that. And everyone received this booklet with a pen from the law enforcement. So it's an awesome event. If you get that opportunity next year, I'm quite sure Chief is going to make arrangements for you to get there. You would like to be a part of it. Yes, thank you very much. Let's see. The museum, someone had mentioned about the museum, and I agree. Not putting anything against anyone, but I think that our best person to do that type of presentation for the town was Miss NY in the theory. And I don't know how she got overpassed with that. It's not about who puts it in, but who can present the information in a way that it could be understood, going back to the history of this town from the beginning. So I was happy that we're going forward, but I think Ms. NY would have been a great candidate to represent the town. Also, I would like to mention that I have some issues with the code enforcement. And you know, this is nothing new. This is a continuation of issues that we're having in the town. I took some photos, and I don't know if those photos actually got in on time. They're not a part of the presentation tonight. Maybe I can just do it on the next go round.
I did. Would you like to put them up now?
Let me put them up now, yes. Thank you very much. Okay, this one here, I just want everyone to see, this was taken the last photo that I took with my camera. And this is supposed to end the presentation, but it doesn't really matter what order. This is like beautiful Eatonville. There are several flowers, trees, and things that we just don't pay attention to. And this is over on Gabriel Street there. That house there has some beautiful, is it Gabriel?
No, that's Lincoln.
No.
Lincoln.
Huh?
It's on my street.
It's on Washington Street.
On Lincoln Street.
On Washington Street.
You call it Washington?
Yeah.
It's Lincoln though.
Lincoln, I'm sorry, Lincoln Street, yeah. And that's a very beautiful, isn't that beautiful?
It is.
Can you go to the next one? Okay, that one is over on Gabriel. It's the same type of plant, tree, or whatever, but it's just some beautiful things here that we have in the town. And they're so beautiful. And when I get a chance, I'm gonna put some of these on postcards. Can you, okay? Now, I'm complimenting the gentleman here at the brown beige building. This is a new business. I don't know what type of business it is, but I went over there to meet the owner. He didn't really have much time because he was busy trying to get some things done. Mr. Preston, can you tell us exactly what is going to be in that building, that location there? Okay.
I can't really tell. I think that's off of Kennedy in Washington, it's Kennedy in Washington. I don't.
Nobody gonna put that.
Ahead of time, I can tell you more about it. I don't have.
I'm just glad he did his work to it.
But you know, it looks very nice and it really adds a very good look to our town. When you riding through there, you don't see that big rusty building there. Okay, the other one there is by that house there, and that's on Washington Street, and that equipment was moved this morning. You go. All right, we've seen this house before several times, and I'm quite sure it's on the list for something to happen. There's another tractor trailer sitting in front of over on Eaton Street, in front of right behind the church, in front of Mr. Marine's, in front of your house there. Yeah, he shook his head. Yes, he knows. Okay, but anyway, what are you gonna tell us about that one?
No, all those items we talked offline and those have been actually cited
Okay,
on those
I
projects.
just want to show the residents that we are addressing.
Absolutely.
The next one. Okay, now this is on my street, Bethune Drive. And I like to say, it's nothing that I can do personally, but every once in a while, I will get out of my car and tell the customers where to park for Miss Kim. Sundays are the best or the worst days on Sunday. It's so much congestion down there on the corner of Kennedy and Bethune Drive. So I don't know exactly what we can do about it, whether we can have some alternate park in some places or whatever. But I just want to just bring it to your attention because it is an issue for now. You can go next one. Okay, the dwelling where the cars are, I would like to say that this is on West Kennedy. There's another parking issue. It seems like parking issues seem to be very popular here in the town. The occurrence for this is on the West Kennedy in the morning. I have seen worse than this. Sometimes cars fill up that whole right of way. So Mrs. Monday, that will be something too that I don't know, but traffic control coming out of that commerce building. This morning I counted just on the right of way alone, there was 16 cars on the right of way this morning, early morning. Yes. Okay, that's the vehicle, the equipment that was being moved this morning. And it was moved to another location because that other location is scheduled for demolition. Okay, now, this is something I want to show everyone. It looks pretty good now, but on Saturday, some visitors from Raleigh, North Carolina came to Eatonville and they wanted to see the town. And I took them on several places around town. But when I went to the park there, I forgot to tell them about the Zora murals. But when I went there, I was kind of glad that I didn't show it to them. I was literally embarrassed about the condition of how that place was kept. Weeds, trash, garbage, all kinds of cans, all kinds of things that were all around that place. And I would like to say, we need to put some attention. We have people coming here, just like a group of people from Eatonville went to St. Augustine 2 weeks ago to take a look at St. Augustine because we're talking about the museum. So in return, you have people coming here on the weekends, want to find out about Eatonville, and they're coming here, and I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. I'm telling you what I know. They're coming here, riding through the neighborhoods to see exactly what kind of place is this. And when they come to places that we have so much pride about, and we say we love our town, and they go to see junk and paper and things like that in our town, Mr. Preston, you got to have someone to do something about that, to clean up that place down there. That's embarrassing. Plant some flowers or hedges or something, make it look beautiful. Councilman.
Now, I'm with you on that because I want that on Sunday, Monday. And you can't see it's basketball lights on the basketball court. You can't see the lights that's supposed to reflect on the court because there's trees. And we used to play there. That's my stomping ground right there.
One person should be checking that area every single day because it is a tourist attraction in our town. If they don't come to St. Lawrence, the Moses House is closed, but they can still go there and be involved on the outside and some of the other places. This is where they want to go, but we're taking people to something that we need to do better. Okay, you can go to the next slide.
I believe that's your last slide.
That's the last slide. Okay.
I fear.
All right. I do have some other items, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those, but I would like to say that I'm still working on, I'm still not, it's still on my heart about trying to be transparent. And we say we want to do the right thing, and we are officials. We're in here to make sure that we're doing our duties for the town. I still have a issue about the bylaws, about the chair and the vice chair position. I don't think that was done fairly. That was race on without giving any thought to anything going on. And I just don't think that was handled correctly. And I'd like to put a motion on the floor to rescind that vote on April the 2nd as Mrs. Gardner as chair. Move. And that's according to the bylaws 3.1 of the CRA bylaws.
So we've already approved an agenda. That wasn't approved.
But you should technically have to do it at the CRA meeting, if it's dealing with the CRA. Since this is a separate meeting, you wouldn't be able to bring it up.
We did this vote in the town council meeting.
Yeah, we did it in the town.
Okay.
So this has to be done in the town council meeting.
Okay, so you are disputing the way
According to the bylaws,
the chair was appointed?
yes.
Okay.
I was the vice chair. What should have happened is that there should have been a vote for the vice chair, not for the chair, because I was the vice chair.
Okay.
So we rushed that on the agenda, and that whole scenario was not handled correctly. And we know it's effective. The town council violated the bylaws by not following the bylaws that we have in place for this position.
I couldn't agree more. And like I said, we want to make sure that we are being transparent across the board. Because when it initially happened, I don't think we was, acting clearly during that moment because we seen different items, the chair and the vice chair. Now, what should have happened is the vice chair should have been dealt with that particular evening. And then during the course of the CRA meeting, that's when the chair should have been appointed. Now, I want to make sure that we are doing everything by law. That's not gonna, tangle us up at the end of the day. And I think, what she did tonight by bringing this particular item up is probably saved all of us, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna put us in a position to do it correctly. Whether we put it back there or not, we want to do it correctly. You understand? So not saying that she won't continue being the chair, but at this particular moment, I want to rescind my vote on this particular item that happened during the course of that meeting. And then that said too, I know we approved that council meeting. So we have to probably go back and kind of polish that up too, because that was on that particular agenda, if that makes sense. So it's a lot of different parts that play up, we're looking at a lot of different components here, so.
I mean, you're certainly welcome to put it on the next agenda.
No, I'm not gonna put it on the next agenda. We're gonna deal with this right now.
It wasn't on the agenda or noticed or anything like that.
I'm putting this
Recommendation would
in
be-
my report. This is on my report.
Okay, but it's not under the town business or anything like that.
Well, I can make it. When we put a motion to put it on the town business, we'll do that.
We've already passed that. My recommendation would be to put it on for the next meeting.
I don't think that's
You know what? I'm in agreement with that because either way it goes, we got a meeting the third Tuesday, right? And it's approaching. So we can go ahead and say, you know what, let's put this particular item, let it stay like it is, even if we are doing things unlawfully. And I think that's what we're trying to correct now, attorney. And but anyway, we're gonna take your opinion because you are the one that's making the legal decision for us. So we're gonna take the grounds of your opinion to do what we're gonna do in terms of putting it on the next agenda, and we'll deal with it then.
We'll deal with it then.
That would be my recommendation. In the meantime, do you want me to do anything on this or to go back and look at anything in the bylaws?
Yeah, you can do that. You have the right to do that.
Okay.
But right now, I'm only basing my decision just based upon your opinion. Because it's your opinion, it doesn't make it right.
No, it's my
And
opinion.
that also goes for Mr.
You
Shep.
don't have to, that's right. You are the decision maker.
Yeah, that's right. We the board,
We don't
we
make the
determine,
decision.
we are going to do things the right way. And I've heard every council member on this new term that we're facing now that wants to do things right and wants to be transparent. And that's what I'm all about. It's not about what Mrs. Garner is not entitled to. It's not me. We just want to do the things that's right. Because if we don't set the example in leadership for other people to follow, they are not going to know exactly what to do when I decide one day that I don't want to be doing this anymore, that I have another direction that I'm going to go in. I like for someone to be here in all these places that we have on this council to learn how to do things and do things right. And I think I've made myself perfectly clear in the last meeting that it's not all about trying to do anything to hurt anybody. I want to do what is right. If I'm entitled to have something, I want my fair share.
Now, I think with that being said, attorney, it is a motion on the floor, if I'm correct, clerk.
Yeah, there is a motion.
Yeah, it's a motion on the floor, so we gotta make a decision on what we're gonna do, at this particular point. I know Mayor Gardner is there and, you know, this is up to this panel to, actually move forward with doing it, being that it is a motion on the floor, or we can either put it, on the next agenda. Now, we gotta make that decision. Now, I don't know exactly which direction everybody else is gonna go. Either way, it doesn't matter with me. We can either go ahead and continue with the motion, pass it or not pass it, or we can put it on the next agenda. I think we need to make that, decision now. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to sit here and continue going back and forth with it because we already kind of laid out exactly what happened during that particular, hour while we were in, council meeting, because it kind of got me off of guard, to be honest with you, and no disregard to, Ms. Gardner, because I respect her, wholeheartedly. But I think if we're gonna be up there as a, you know, council member, we gotta do everything according to the, bylaws. And if we're not doing that, we're doing the town injustice.
So let me be clear.
So you're saying that I can't make a motion as a part of my report? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying my recommendation would be to move it.
No,
to
I
the
know, that's
next
not what your
agenda.
recommendation. I'm saying, are you saying right now that I cannot make a motion to rescind the vote on April the 2nd as Ms. Garner as the chair? I can't make that motion?
April 16th.
I'm saying I'm gonna tell you what my recommendation would be, because I was not at that meeting and I would like to go back and look and see what exactly happened and look at the meetings, the meeting minutes and the recording to make a proper, to give you a proper opinion as to whether the bylaws was followed or not.
Because nobody had bylaws at that meeting, so what do the bylaws, what does the bylaws say about anything that we need to do about CRA?
You know, a council member can make a motion at any time, even as a part of your report. And a lot of things we make motions on our report. It's not even on the agenda. So what makes that has to be on an agenda?
So my suggestion sounds like, or what I would say at this point, sounds like there has been that motion, allow that vote to go through, and then we can decide where we go from there. I don't know what else you can do at without.
So I've heard a motion and a second. So if
Yes.
you want to hold the vote, you can. If you want to move it to the next agenda, you can.
If I may, now we gotta understand, we can't wait till the next council meeting. This gotta go on the CRA, right? Am I correct? Or no?
No.
Okay, for the chair? Okay, all right, so I guess it is the next meeting, then, which would be the third Tuesday of this month, which is in 2 weeks.
Thursday. That's actually this Thursday.
Do we have a second?
Okay, that's good.
The CRA meeting is Thursday.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I asked.
That moves Daniels.
But hold up, before we,
But you were asking who makes the decision, I'm saying the council makes the decision. The council don't meet on Thursday, the chair of the.
yeah, I know, I understand that, but I'm saying though, it's such a complex here because the way it was done, it was kind of uniquely done, but it was done wrongly, if that makes sense too, you know what I'm saying? So I know Mayor Gardner, meant well.
No, wait, stop. March 15, 2022. Vice mayor, vice chair was vice chair, and they voted me as chair. It was the exact same thing. Wait. Back in, I don't know, 2017, 2016, Vice Mayor Thomas was what had to sit in as is interim. And then everyone, I don't know about you, but everyone voted for a mayor. Nothing was done improperly. Obviously, other conversations are going on, but nothing was done improperly. You vote for a chair, and you vote for a chair, and you vote for a vice chair. That's all that happened.
No. At that particular moment, with the vice chair, listen, okay. Okay, now.
It was done in a council meeting, not a CR meeting.
That's what I'm saying, so
which is where it's supposed to have been done.
Okay, but I think the perception that everybody got is, especially me, because it kind of struck me by surprise when I seen these I thought I was gonna win something or something, but the little scripts, I'm like, what is this? And then when I seen it, and I'm like, I'm trying to gather my thoughts, but I couldn't because everything happened so fast. Now, I think what we need to do moving forward, just to make sure that we're all doing everything to line up with the bylaws and everything that's lawful for this particular thing to happen, is reset our vote, right? I don't think we're gonna lose no sleep by resetting our vote, right? And not saying that you won't get that particular position back, Mayor Gardner, but I think we need to do our due diligence for the citizens of the town of Eatonville to make sure that we're following all guidelines and all bylaws and make sure that we're lining up. That's all I'm asking, and I don't think that's nothing that should be too hard to ask. I didn't put it on the floor, but I definitely support it.
You know, to the bylaws, so that's, I mean, so I wanna read the bylaw, I mean.
So I pulled up the bylaws and the officers, it's in Article 3. Do you have that, Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Article 3 and 1. Do you mind reviewing that and giving your legal opinion on that statement? Because it states the officers of the seat of the Tokra shall be the chair and vice chair appointed. Appoints shall be for 1 calendar year. Appointees will usually be considered by town council at the last meeting or regular special meeting in the calendar year. If new appointments are not timely made, the incumbent shall continue to serve in the newly appointed made by the council. Any officers may be appointed for consecutive terms. Now, what we had was the current chair was no longer in the actual council seat, which means that that position became vacant. The question was, at the time, that the vice chair who won her seat back was still in position. So there was a chair open. And I think several knowledges came to it. Should the vice chair have been promoted to chair, or was it, and then you choose a vice chair, or was the vice chair supposed to stay and we did it as we did it with choosing the chair? So I think I'm hoping, Councilwoman, you correct me if I'm wrong, that's what you're asking to be rescinded because it wasn't done that way. Okay.
But does it say that? Does that vice chair move up?
It does not explicitly say that, so my opinion would be that there would be a new vote for chair and vice chair.
I think that's what we need to be, I think that's what we need to have.
Well, and the reason why we didn't vote for a vice chair, per Cliff's response, we didn't have a vacancy there. The vice chair was still in place. I understand, I'm just letting you know what took place in that scenario.
So my only opinion to that would be then that would effectively preclude her from
being considered for the chair.
Yeah, from being considered. So my interpretation would be that those 2 appointments should be made together, and that would give Ms. Randolph a chance to be the chair if the vote. If that's what the vote said, so.
So at this particular time, attorney, what do you suggest we do to line up with everything that we need to line up with without having any fall back on anything that's gonna come back and bite us? Like, cause I know you made your opinion earlier about, doing it.
I made a recommendation. Right now, we have a motion and a second on the floor. So my opinion would be you need to hold a vote on that.
But that vote is to, if I'm not.
That vote is to rescind.
Right, to reset. Right.
What I'm thinking, because it's don't mention it in the bylaws. When I think Ms. Randolph got reelected, so she had to get sworn in, so anything she had, I think should have been lost. I mean, I'm saying that's what I'm thinking, that you just a board member now, because you got reelected, you have to be sworn in. So I don't think you keep your titles because you had to be sworn in and you got reelected. So we said that you keep everything you had when you was running for the election.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't say that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Does it?
But according to the bylaws, even though it doesn't specifically say it, but I think in some kind of language that I gathered that the vice automatically assumes the chair. Isn't that correct?
But
I think that's in any entity that you deal with.
It says in the absence or disqualification, resignation, death, or disability.
The chairman is not here anymore because he's not the councilman. You understand? So he automatically dissolves.
Well, I'm thinking everything start over because both Flo was the chair and the vice chair, both of them was up for election. So that means you starting over. That means, matter of fact, you still hold those titles, but when you go get back sworn in, you gotta get those titles back because you're getting matter of fact,
I got what you're saying. So she's really not. So she's
supposed to get recertified to build back on the CRA board too, because it's certificate of appointment when you got reelected. Get back on the board too.
Because so it's an independent thing that you're doing as an elected official, right? It's just like me. Imagine me running for a re-election and I lose. I'm the vice chair and I win, right? Okay. I still gotta come regain that back by the vote. You understand me? So it doesn't make me the vice chair anymore necessarily. Because it's still that I'm running independent now. I can't run independent and come back and say and say that I'm the vice mayor now. You understand me? So I think within the guidelines somewhere in the bylaws, it's gonna state something to that degree of saying you everything's dissolved. And that's why it's done annually. That's why it's an annual thing. You know what I'm saying?
And she got reelected, so I think she was got a certificate of appointment for the CRA board because she was reelected. You just don't. I don't think you hold on to your seats because you won. Or
that's what I'm saying.
So that's what I'm thinking. That every board member we got reelected, get recertified. We're appointed to the board, and I think that's. I mean, we're missing. That's what I'm thinking. So,
and I think that's what he's recommending be done. The council. That's what he was pretty much stating. However, there's also a vote on the table
because there's a new board. Period. That's a new CRA board.
Right.
It's a new council board.
We understand that, but I think you don't have a vote on the table.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just questions.
Yes,
it's part
of it. But if I can, before we go forward, Mr. President, and I want to get out of here now. Now,
I ain't gonna report me.
Now, hold on. I want to say this really quickly. Now, with us rescinding our vote, right? According to what Vice Mayor just said, right? Now, this will dissolve everybody. You understand? So she won't even be the vice anymore. Now we got a meeting coming up. So how will we disclose who's the chair and who's not the chair? Or who's the vice and who's not the vice? You understand me? So I think what we need to do, my opinion, is have I don't want to initially, but I think we need to have a special meeting, right? Before
the CRA meeting, because you can't have a CRA meeting without the chair, nor the vice chair, even if you got a quorum. So you gotta make sure that you got everything lined up. You understand? How can you conduct a meeting without a chair?
So the request,
So your recommendation would be to have a special meeting in order to hold another vote and address
Correct.
this issue. So basically, at the special meeting, the first item would be to rescind the vote, and then the next item would be to vote on the chair and the
No,
vice
we can
chair.
rescind the vote now, because it doesn't make sense to rescind the vote when we actually gonna have a special meeting, because that kind of defeats the purpose. You understand me? Rescind the vote now, that way everybody going with a clear conscience and clear head to put the pieces back together. Like, okay, at this particular moment, instead of doing it the paper way like we did, Mayor Gardner gonna put a motion on the floor to select whomever it is for chair. And soon after that, you're gonna select whomever else for vice chair. And that's how it's gonna be. And that's how it should be, by law. That's my suggestion. I'm not a lawyer, but I think common sense play a major role in what we're doing right now in terms of making this certain mechanism work the way it needs to work, instead of sitting here pondering about it. So if we can just go ahead and, we got a motion on the floor, continue the motion, right? It's already been moved and second, right? With question. Now we can move forward with saying, okay, we're gonna rescind our vote. Okay, so when does we send our vote? Now what administrator need to do, as far as clerk, is set up a time and date that we can have a special meeting. And once we do that, we'll have the clarification on having that meeting, coming in, sitting down, and it won't take but a second to do it. And we can go on about our merry business. It ain't no meeting. We ain't got no agenda. The only agenda is making a chair and a vice. That's it. I think it makes perfect sense. My opinion, but I'm only one opinion though. It takes 5 people to agree with and vote their conviction. So
Like this whole talk about doing things right, this obviously isn't.
I think we are doing it right, man. I think we are doing it right, because the way you did it, I don't think was necessarily right.
All I did was try to clean up the way that we do it. So we say, look, hear me out. The reason I gave the slips of paper was simply to make it easier when you put someone's name on the floor. Because otherwise it's, okay, we put so-and-so on the floor, nay. Okay, who's next? We put so-and-so, and that's cumbersome. That is the only reason you had the strips of paper, was to streamline the process so that the first name on the floor, because they all went directly to the town clerk. So it wasn't anything nefarious or anything like that. It was to make it more efficient. So honestly, if you just talked about doing it properly, decently and in order, then do it decently and in order all of the time. And that would be for the next meeting. If you want to do a special meeting, call a special meeting, but do it right. Let's do it right. You call a special meeting.
Mayor Gardner, if I can say, now, if I had to say from an ethical point of view, I think that was dead wrong. When you giving us sheets of paper. Now, ethically, if you really dialed in and really look at the ethical part of it, that didn't look right. Ethically now. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
blank sheet of paper, slip of paper.
yes, but you have certain things on here that's written on here. You gotta understand.
Mayor, vice mayor.
Yeah, I know, but it's a conflict of interest, if you ask me personally. Now you can, like I said, it's just a conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying? Because anything, listen, for as far as I'm concerned, somebody could have wrote one thing. And I ain't saying the clerk are not identifying who it is, right? But it's not our judgment to sit here and judge her on what she's saying, right? Because she's the clerk. So we're gonna give her that trust whether to be able to present that to us and us trusting her like we did. But I think to eliminate that, do it the proper way. Either yeah or nay. And you're hearing it from the horse's mouth versus sitting here looking at a piece of paper, guessing who somebody voted for. I was guessing like that, wonder who voted for me. You know. But regardless of that. Regardless of that.
To do it. Let's.
Honestly,
I must.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, and I'm not sliding.
I'm trying to make sense out of it, Ms. Gardner, and I respect you wholeheartedly. I promise you I do. I respect you totally. But I think if we're gonna do things accordingly and by law, we gotta do that. We can't sit here and pick and choose and have selective things on what we do this way or that way.
And I'm not, I was just trying to make it.
But that kind of threw me it threw me for a loop when I seen that, though, like, man, what is this?
So
Everything happened so fast.
if I may, just for clarity for the administration and clerk office and our legal. The concern was the papers being used to choose.
Yes, that's very
I'm just trying to make sure that's what was the concern with the paper process. You're wanting staff, are you wanting someone on the council to openly state who they're nominating for the position? I'm just trying to make sure that's what.
That's the traditional way. Like,
We should have been able to know.
Okay, that's what I'm just trying to understand for clarity what.
We don't have quiet voting. In our meetings.
Two things that's being brought to question. Process in the manner in which the office was chosen, and then also an interpretation of the language of the bylaws.
Yes.
they were dealing with two different items, but I think one is gonna clear the other one up by not having the paper for one, right? And by us going by the bylaws that we have presented in front of us, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, and I know it's all kind of different languages that's associated, and we can sit here and read it forever, but it's gonna be something that's gonna stimulate us to see something else that doesn't really go with this. And then we're gonna look at it like, man, what is this, right? So I think we need to do it what we best practice all these years that I've been sitting on council is the way that we traditionally did. The mayor put a motion on the floor to select whomever she want at that chair position. And after that's resolved, you make another decision on who's gonna be the vice. And that's an annual thing. Listen, and by the bylaws, it's an annual thing that needs to be done every cycle, every year.
But the bylaws
But
have changed.
this was a special situation because of the election.
They're not the same. I don't make that
Yeah,
recommendation.
the bylaws state different.
The bylaws is that majority vote, which is why I did the strips of
I
paper,
know, but
so we can get the majority.
well, I think that's where my problem comes in there, because I said either or
That's fine.
is gonna be eliminated, either the bylaws or the paper. Me, with the paper, I think ethically, and on the
It's
one.
not transparent. You
It's
want
not,
transparency.
I want some transparency along the way, cause if I go, cause this is a very serious matter when you're dealing with ethic things, you know what I'm saying? Because like, and I'm gonna share this information when I do go to an ethics class. Can you do this, right? Even though we're in position of doing it now, but can you really have a silent vote with not knowing who said what or what? I didn't get a second, I didn't get a, you know what I'm saying? You just.
Yeah, you got a second. You didn't get a second.
Regardless of that, but you don't know who it is that's being voted upon. Besides what the clerk is saying, not taking anything away from you, clerk, right? But I think we need to traditionally just, yeah, nay. Simple. I don't think that's hard.
And I still have the strips of paper
I don't think that's
in my
hard.
own record. Because it was that business.
That's fine,
But we do have a motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the floor.
My recommendation would be to vote on the motion, notice it for the special meeting or whatever meeting that's going to be noticed. That way it's noticed and the public can have comment on it for that meeting and move on from there.
I don't think we need a special meeting. I think we can do that in a council. We have another council meeting.
It's your choice, yeah.
So for clarity, if the vote is to rescind that, you're wanting to revote the chair and the vice chair, the next meeting is before, the CRA meeting is before the
Yeah,
next
that's why I
council meeting
recommend the special meeting.
to actually decide who would be the chair. and
Well,
the vice.
according to the bylaws,
Okay,
the vice chair
would hold that role until the next meeting.
could run the meeting.
But like we
Yeah.
just said though, what Vice Mayor just said, it's almost like you just zapped out when you win your election because you got.
That though, that bylaws.
Wait, I'm sorry, wait, let's stop. We need to bring this to a close. Honestly, it's 10 o'clock. Let's respect people's time. Whatever you're gonna do, go ahead, make your motion. Let's get it done.
We already
so we
made
can
the
go.
motion. We already have a motion on the
So
floor.
it's been moved and second to rescind the chair of the CRA, because nothing has really been determined about the vice chair. It's been discussed but not determined. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Is that your report?
Yes.
Hi, Vice.
Okay. I don't know what the AC in here, need to get that checked out. That's the first thing. Then the pool, ribbon cutting is on the 25th. And I want to know if we're gonna clean up the tennis court area. When we have people coming in, visiting the pool. So I'd like to see something done with tennis courts in that area, make sure we're all cleaned up. Then it's a tour bus coming through Ocoee and Eatonville, June 15th, 2024. They will be visiting the town of Eatonville, and we need to start cleaning up our community with this for I think it's the Juneteenth committee from Central Florida on Black History people. So I think we need to do a cleanup in our community for they get here on the 15th.
June 1st should be the initial.
June 15th. Okay, you get your June 1st cleanup too.
Yeah, community.
Yeah, community. Okay. And my other thing, we were talking about programs. I know we shot a program down that the police department wanted. We wanted to get the police department a mentor program back in several years ago that we shot down. I think the budget was like $15,000 to $20,000. That was a big issue at the time. I think chief need to bring that program back, look at that, so we can get some of them boys to be, have some men in their life that after school program that we can do for one of the programs that we can do as mentors, get some young men involved and females too.
I actually have a meeting scheduled in 2 weeks with the PAL program from the sheriff's office as well as Explore.
Yeah, because that's something I supported, but it got shot down. That for some reason, we say talk about kids and we don't support the kids. So that's one issue that came up. And with PAL in the park, the cement on the banks of this ditch, it's not cleaned up yet. That's something that's eyesore to me. I go out there and hang out with the guys at the park and I see this stuff here. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with that. And with Miss Kathy Mills property, grandmother, mother-in-law, we need to do something about that there. ASAP. I know that the one I did all the markings, and it shouldn't take that long. We should knock that out in no time. So that's all I have. I mean, I got ball about this other issue, but that's all I have to do.
Mr. Presley, the items that were brought up in these reports, did you receive an email with these items?
From
All the items, all of the
from
whomever.
I'm not sure what
So any of the issues, any challenges that have been seen, did you receive an email listing those challenges in an email? So it was all brought up here. So I'm asking council members that you will please, whatever the issues are, to go ahead and send them to Mr. Presley. And y'all are not gonna like me what I say next, but I think that taking a whole hour or so for a report is way out of the scope of what's acceptable. I know meetings can go long. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying shut anyone down, but what I am saying, to be cognizant of time. Because some of the things that are discussed are things that are gonna have to be taken care of administratively. So you might as well just send them to the administrator. Then if it does not get done, then go ahead and bring it up. I understand everyone's concern, but sometimes there is a better way. There is always a better way. Everyone, please drive carefully. Thank you for coming out. Have a good
For the
evening.
record, before you close, can I say something? You asked him a question. You asked him, did he send me your email?
Wait, but I'm not, and I asked it for my, not for you, but for me. For me, that's it. That's it. We really need to close it.
Oh,
I get it. But we gotta close it. It's 10:05. I
For the
will
sake of
adjourn
time.
it. Thank you. It's 10:05. I move for adjournment. Is it seconded?
Second.
It's been moved in second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All
Aye. You understand what I'm saying?
right, 10:05.